From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Cascade Paint & Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Kruger, Cascade Paints. I tell you what, I'm in the middle of a paint project right now, and they know what they're doing. They really have helped me get the right tools, the right kind of paint for my project, and I can paint with confidence as I move forward, thanks to Cascade Paints. Be sure to check them out for your next paint project. All right, let's take a look at Kruger's Quickcast here for tonight, because I tell you what, we're going to want to enjoy these cooler temperatures overnight before it warms back up. That's one of the redeeming factors of this time of the year. Even if we see these heat waves, these mini heat waves push through the daytime hours, we at least get to cool off at night and even in the early morning hours. So if you got outdoor chores that you've got to do, you get up nice and early before sunrise or right around sunrise, take advantage of those cooler temperatures before it warms up. And we're talking upper 50s, low 60s for the valley, 40s and 50s for the mountains, and those low 50s for the coast. There's going to be some fog along the coast here for tonight as well. So out the door tomorrow morning for your September 28th. Yes, it's still going to be on the mild side. 8 o'clock, still about 62 in the valley. So yeah, if you wake up at 5, 6 in the morning, you can get some stuff done in the valley in particular. But of course, for the mountains, you'll be looking at temperatures low to mid 50s and some of that fog along the coast here for tomorrow morning. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. And here you can see some of that fog we are seeing tomorrow morning, even on Highway 101 around Blue Lake as well. Everywhere else, seeing those clear skies, making for one of those cool nights and cool mornings. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, it kind of persists around Eureka, Humboldt Bay, but not as bad out towards places like Crescent City as far as that fog is concerned. And then for tomorrow, what we're expecting for your highs, maybe we're shaving off a few degrees from what we saw today, but generally in the mid to upper 90s in the valley. We're talking temperatures in the 80s for most of the higher elevations, but still some 90s for Trinity County, inland, and even cooling off a little bit here for the coast with temperatures there in the low 60s. So temperatures, again, dropping a little bit over the weekend before we go back up again, back down, and then we see this gradual drop in our temperatures as we get towards the end of next week. And really, overall, that's going to be the trend for everyone else as well, including the coast. That dip in the temperatures over the weekend, back up, and then a gradual drop going into towards the end of next week. That's also the case for inland and for Trinity County. All right, we take a look at Siskiyou County, Modoc County, Susanville, Eastern Mountains in general. Also seeing that trend going up, going down over the weekend, back up the beginning of next week, and then gradually dropping toward the end of next week. All right, that's a look at Kruger's Quickcast. Let's go ahead and take a look at our deeper dive. This is where you get more details, get the bigger picture, get the story behind the forecast to give you an idea. So the summer heat, it returns today, and really it returned today. We're going to be looking at it again here over the weekend, but you know, this weekend we're going to see that slight drop with a hot start to next week. So it returned today. We're dropping over the weekend. We're going back to the triple digits for many of us in the valley by Monday, Tuesday. And there's that gradual drop as we go through next week, especially toward the end of next week. Now the winds, they're going to be picking up a little bit here for your Saturday. There you can see the Warner Mountains, seeing some strong winds in the eastern mountains as well. But overall, not as bad even for the valley. And not even that bad here, it looks like along the immediate coast in particular. Now, as for your Sunday, we're starting to see them pick up a little bit here for parts of the North Coast. Crescent City, Eureka, you may see some stronger winds for the second half of your weekend. We're also seeing some stronger winds in central Siskiyou County as well. Not as bad for the eastern mountains, and looks like not as bad here for the valley either. So when we combine that with our humidity, yes, we're looking at low humidity levels. So the heat and the dry conditions alone are enough to elevate that fire weather risk. So we still need to be careful, because it's still going to be very dry on Sunday as well. All right, so, and keep in mind too, we're seeing the stronger winds in central Siskiyou County. Although not concerned about fire danger, just know that it's going to be windier, or more windy that is, for Del Norte, Humboldt counties, and even along the coast. All right, so Futurecast, again, for tomorrow morning, there's that fog along really up and down the coast here. It does kind of break apart, especially from north to south, but still some of that fog persisting through a good portion of the day for places like Eureka, for example. We go into Sunday morning, still that fog around Eureka, but that should dissipate by Sunday afternoon for more sunshine. But as I mentioned, those winds kind of picking up as well. So the precipitation outlook coming in from the Climate Prediction Center is still putting us in that drier than normal category. But the overall picture is this. We've got high pressure over the desert Southwest. We've got high pressure over the Eastern Pacific. We've also got these storm systems up to our north, and even though they're not moving over us per se, they're riding to our north. And what that's doing is it's taking a ridge of high pressure that's trying to build in, it's flattening it out, and it's also pushing that warmer air farther away from us. So as a result, we see our temperatures drop. So as we go into the weekend, we've got this trough low pressure right here. Now you see it's mainly moving over Washington northward, right? But we still have a little bit of that dip in the jet stream. So that's pushing this heat to the southeast, that's pushing this heat to the south and west. We as a result see a minor drop in our temperatures over the weekend. That moves on out. These two areas of high pressure and warmer air move back in, right? Because we're seeing this storm system move out. We have one up to our north, but it's not really having much of an impact. Enough of an impact keeping that jet stream fairly flat. So instead of a nice prominent ridge, it's keeping it fairly flat, but that warmer air is still moving in. And this is why I still expect some triple-digit heat for the valley starting off early next week. But I've got my eyes on this area of low pressure right here. All right, so as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, that rides to the north. That's the beginning phases of, again, pushing this warmer air to the south and east and this way off to the west. There's another area of low pressure here based on this particular forecast model that wants to bring a fairly impressive area of low pressure kind of pushing through the Pacific Northwest and getting closer to Northern California. Now, if this pans out, what I'm seeing is a significant drop in our temperatures a week from this upcoming Saturday into that, really a week from this upcoming weekend. This would bring us significantly cooler temperatures and maybe even some wet weather. Now, that's this model. You look at the European forecast model, not as aggressive, keeps this a little bit more to the north, wouldn't bring us any rain, and temperature is not dropping as much either. So we're still seeing some discrepancies in the long-range forecast models. So this right here is not guaranteed. This is not my forecast. This is just a trend that I'm showing you is a potential trend that we've got our eyes on. That's going to be a little over a week from now. So we'll watch this. We'll certainly hope for the best and hope that this pans out. But I'll probably be singing a different tune as we go through next week, as we kind of get closer to that next weekend and see what happens. But boy, wouldn't that be nice? But the Climate Prediction Center still have us in the warmer than normal category. However, over the last several days, we've seen a lot of these darker reds indicating better chances of above normal temperatures. We're getting into these lighter shades of oranges and reds indicating slimmer chances of above normal temperatures. But we're still going to be above normal through most of next week, but then toward the end of next week possibly dropping right around or just below normal. So here's what we've got. You see how the temperatures are dropping slightly over the weekend. They're going back up for Monday, Tuesday, and then just that gradual drop. We're down to about 91 for Friday, and we'll kind of level out, at least based on the latest forecast model data now. We'll level out possibly as we go into a week from this upcoming weekend, around 89 to 90 degrees, which is about normal for this time of the year. That would be a welcome sight as opposed to this. So we've still got to get through this. We go into next week, but hopefully this trend sticks as we get closer to the end of next week. There's a look at your wave heights, and you can see they're not changing really much here, taking you into your Saturday afternoon or Sunday. There is a small corrected advisory for this evening and even into Saturday as well. So just be aware of that if you do need to be out on a small boat. So for tonight, as I mentioned, tonight, early tomorrow morning, get that yard work done before the heat kicks in tomorrow afternoon. But there you can see temperatures 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, low 50s, and that morning fog for tomorrow on the coast. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Your temperatures should be in the low to mid 90s on average. Some of the cooler spots, like 83 in Mad River, Ruth about 89 degrees. Across the board, we're seeing temperatures going up and down with that gradual decrease in the temperatures through next week, including the coast. See the drop? Going back up, and then a gradual drop even going to the end of next week. Temperatures, though, for the immediate coast, low 60s. You start heading inland, obviously getting warmer. 91 for Alder Point. Garberville, a high of 91. We're back up to about 95 for Orleans, 91 Hoopa, and Willow Creek, about 94 degrees. 69 for Smith River, and Crescent City, about 62 degrees. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. mainly the upper 80s to low 90s. Cooler spots as usual to the north and east with 82 for Tennant, 85 out in Doris. There's 91 for Gazelle and Dunsmuir, about 90 degrees. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast for your Saturday, temperatures mid to upper 80s, Tule Lake 86, Canby 87, and California Pines as well as Alturas about 88 degrees. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast looking at temperatures in the 80s and 90s. Viola, one of the cooler spots at 78. Much warmer in Paradise with a high of 90. Looks like Westwood about 87 and 90 in Doyle. Let's take a look at your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Want to thank Walgamuth for their sponsorship. They're the newest sponsor of the Valley neighborhood forecast. Of course, that goes in line with their commercial ad, right, where people can't say their name correctly. I just did it myself. But it's Walgamuth Painting. Want to thank them for their sponsorship of the Valley neighborhood. Be sure to check them out. All right, 95 degrees for Corning, 96 for Chico. And you're going to see Gridley about 94 degrees. Take you up north. There's about 92 degrees for Lakehead, 92 for Whiskeytown, 97 for Anderson. And taking a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. The temperatures, yeah, they're dropping slightly over the weekend, but back up to about 100 degrees or higher for Monday, Tuesday. And then that gradual drop through next week should be down to the low 90s by next Friday. That's your evening update. Have a great weekend. Be sure to check in with meteorologist Brian Wilson for Saturday and Sunday. He'll have your updates at 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. Have a great weekend.
We're the locals down the street. The neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years. A loan or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service, while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.